Starting, Rohit?
Lights are flashing, colors glow. Feel the rhythm,
Hello, hello,
let
hello.
it flow.
Welcome, welcome,
Heartbeat racing, can't say no.
welcome.
Move
Hello.
your body, take it slow, take it slow. Hands up high, we're touching skies. Can't stop now, it's do or die.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Depends on where you're joining us. Welcome to the show. Today is Tokenize with Mahesh every Tuesday. If you are joining me first time, welcome. As you may know, some of you may already know, welcome. Looks like few people are already joining. Thank you for joining. Keep learning. Continue learning new things every day. Today is Tuesday. Here I'm in outside of Philadelphia. We have a lot of snow. We got a lot of snow last few days. It's 12 inches snow. Yesterday I got stuck in snow. We have trees down in my driveway. So now let's back to work. Today we are going to talk about in Tokenize with Mahesh show. Today we are going to talk about market making. And this is a very important topic. If you are a founder trying to launch your own token, trying to get into token, it's very important to understand market making, how it works, why it's so important. And I'm learning. I have learned for a while, learn in different ways by launching tokens, by being part of token launches. So today we are going to talk about the importance of market making in a token launch, what a market maker is, how they work behind the scene, why do you need them, and why it's important to find the right market maker. That is very important. If you're launching your token and you don't have a good market maker, this could almost destroy your token. So it's very important to find a good market maker and you have to know them. So we will learn all this in this today's show. We are actually breaking down this show into two parts because it's a little longer, and I want to cover some of the insights which you may not find otherwise, especially if you are first time founder in crypto. So let's get started. First thing we need to know is what is market making and what is market maker, and why do you need a market making and market maker in your crypto token launch. And this is not just related to crypto, it's also if you launch your own stocks on a public market, you will still need a market maker. So market maker is a company or a person that manages liquidity of your tokens for you on your behalf. In other words, if you are a token holder company, you launch a token, you will need somebody professional who can manage your token liquidity. And there are already proven firms, they do this for you. They get paid for it. They get paid a lot of money for that. You have to pay a lot of money if you are a token holder. So what do? They manage the liquidity of your token on exchanges. What does that mean? Liquidity is the so think about when you are launching a token, what you're doing is you're putting some of the tokens on these exchanges where people can buy and sell. So Liquidity is the amount of tokens and the either other pair, which is USDT or USD, or depends on the pair of the token you have on the exchange available. That's called liquidity. Liquidity is also how much money is out there in both terms, in the crypto as well as other pair, which is USDC, USDT, or dollar fiat. Depends on how your token is paired with, how is it much is available on exchanges. So in other words, what the liquidity means is how easily you can buy and sell a token at its current price without moving its price. That means there's enough bucket. For example, if you're buying tokens, there's enough tokens you buying, there's enough to buy, so it doesn't affect price much. If you're selling, there's enough other currency where you're selling in, either it's a USDT or USD, so it doesn't affect much price. That's the pool is called liquidity. And market making is the process. The company or the person that manages this liquidity is called market maker. And this is where it's must have. If you're launching a token, if you're launching your own token, having a market maker as a partner before you launch on an exchange is very important, and you must have it. Without that, actually, without a market maker, no exchange is going to launch your token. And if you don't know how market makers work, who is the good market maker, they can actually to take benefit from it. Not only they can destroy your price and your token, they can also steal money from you, because they sometimes you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. So it's very important to know these people who are working on your behalf. They are basically the company that you need to trust them, you need to meet them, you need to know who they are. You're also paying them a lot of money. So in this today's episode, that's what we will talk about. So now you know what market makers are, what is market making, what is liquidity. What do? They solve biggest problem in tokens. When you launch a token first time, especially when token is young and there's not too many traders buying, selling, there's not a lot of volume buying, selling. What happens is that small price movement can affect the price volatility of this whole token. For example, if you're just launching, somebody goes and buy a few $1,000s of tokens, can boost the price up a lot. And if somebody sells, can drop the price down a lot until there's enough traders come and start buying and selling. So that is the role of market makers, make sure that the price volatility is managed there. Other problem with the tokens is when, let's say, you have a big investor that holds a lot of tokens, and they go there and they sell it. It's a job of market makers to figure out that it doesn't crash the price of the token. And most exchanges require you to have a market maker. Sometimes, if you are working with these exchanges, they will actually even suggest some of the existing market makers they work with. Um, how do so there are different types of models with market making. And again, you can ask questions. Remember, this show is for you. This show, we do this every Tuesday. It's for you. That means if you have any questions about the topic, today's topic, or anything about launching a token, anything around tokenization, just ask your question. Today we are talking about market making and the role of market maker and how important it is to have a good market maker. Trust me, I have personal experience dealing with a lot of these market makers. I know some of them. Yeah. So there are different types of these models. One is market maker. There's two kind of exchanges: centralized exchange and DEX, decentralized exchange. So you can have a market maker that just work on centralized exchange only. Some also manage your DEX. The idea with DEX is that nobody should be able to manage, should be managing them. It should automatically be managed, but sometimes you still need somebody to know, who knows all these, insights and outside. Then you can also have a hybrid model. Now, when you're dealing with market makers, there are some danger zones. Some we even government, even FBI found some market makers. They were doing wash trading behind the scene. Wash trading is that they are making things up and selling, buying themselves for their own benefits. This could be a huge problem. That's why it's important to have a trusted market maker who you can trust, who you know, and you know that they are referred by somebody and they won't do this kind of stuff. They also use some bots, and some bots can be the without risk management. And then if there is a market maker looking for short-term contracts with no incentives, that's kind of a danger zone as well. So in other words, if you are hiring a market maker, and I'll explain you what incentives means and how it should work. You're trying to hire a market maker for your token, what you should be looking for. That's a important part of this discussion today. So, rule number one with market makers that you want to make sure that they have their skin in the game. They shouldn't be somebody who are just getting paid without any incentives. Otherwise, that will create a problem. So now you may ask, like, okay, so how do market makers make money? Well, here is some of these three ways they make money, and first one is incentives. So makers make money based on incentives. What happens when you are buying and selling tokens? There's a fee involved in that. They can make money, a kind of commission from that fee. So sometimes also you can set some goals that if we reach these goals, they will get paid for that. Incentives are based on milestone is very important, because now you can look at the milestone and say if these milestones are achieved or not. Sometimes these market makers can make money from these spreads. Sometimes they get volume based rebates, and sometimes you could structure a deal through the token upside. So these are different ways you can structure the deal. That's how they make money. Market makers, most of them also charge. Some of them charge monthly fees, especially the small ones who don't have experience or expertise of making money based on incentives. In the beginning, that's kind of what you end up working with, but you want to still kind of try to stay away from the market makers that are only charging you without any incentives. Um, as a founder, you must negotiate with them, and what kind of negotiation you need is the you want to make sure you have transparent reporting. Means what is going on behind the scene, what is the volume, who's buying, who's selling, how many people on what exchange. You should have clear inventory limits, what you can put there, what they can sell, what they can buy, all those things. There should be no naked sorting, and there should be other exit rules. You also want to make sure in contract you don't do long-term contracts with market makers and pay them without any incentives. So this is kind of some of the things you means founder needs to keep in mind. Again, looks like more people are joining in. Welcome to the Tokenize with Mahesh show. Today we talk about tokenization, crypto tokenization, obviously cryptocurrency. And today's topic is market making and market makers. So if you have any questions about market making, feel free to ask, or any questions about tokenization, just ask. This episode is usually 20 minutes, and we try to keep few minutes extra for any questions. So today, so far, what we learn is we learn about what is market making, what is a market maker, how do you find a market maker, um, what are the different things you should look for, and how the market makers make money. So as a founder, this is kind of almost like your playbook. If you see some of these, that's the major risks. If you see there's a artificial liquidity that disappears overnight, you have hidden tokens dumping by market maker. Because I've seen this again and with my experience that market makers know your inside out. They know the goals, they know how much tokens are coming in market, they know how much sales, how many people are buying and selling. So some market makers can be behind the scene working using different accounts and almost like stealing your liquidity, your tokens behind the scene. Um, they could also control the suppression through excessive sell walls. There's also wash trading behaviors. So you have to look at all these, and this is very complex topic. If you are a new founder, it's usually hard to understand sometime. So this is very important. If you are a new founder trying to launch your token, try to have somebody advisor, somebody on your team who knows these things, who have done this before, who have went through these things and can advise you on different aspects of market making, including introductions to a market maker they have worked with before. That's the key point, right? Because you are almost like giving somebody all of your, no, not all your, you're giving, access to keys to your tokens and your money, and on your behalf they are managing it. So there's a lot of risk behind the scene, and there's no way for you to find out, because the way crypto world is, if you don't even know who's buying selling, because these accounts, anybody can go and open a account on any exchange or any wallet, and you don't know who controls and who owns that account. So it's really hard. I have seen in my case there's some market makers, they do this fraud. They, because they know inside out, they can have their own other accounts or their friends accounts or their party they work with, their accounts, they are buying and selling, and these guys are getting commission off that from your token, and you are losing money from your account. This is very risky when you launch a token. So point I'm making is that if you are a new founder who's trying to launch your token without learning all these things, especially about market making, don't just go and launch it, because you're gonna get in big trouble. Um, and market making is a must. It's a requirement. Without that, you cannot do anything. So this is not something you can, go and run with it. Other thing is market makers also charge fee. So if they feel like, market makers feel like they're not going to make enough money from commissions and trades, whatever they're doing through the incentives, you have to probably end up paying a monthly fee, especially first time you are launching a token. Fee can be a lot. Fee can be in lot. It can start from $3,000 to $4,000 per month to $20,000 per month, and even more. Some larger exchanges, they even charge, line larger exchanges, on larger exchanges, bigger market makers even charge a lot more fees. So again, I'm not scaring you. These are the some of the things you must be aware, you must know, and you must have some experienced person on your team. What are the different red flags founders must watch for? So when you're talking to these market makers and you're trying to hire one, what are the some of the red flags you should look for? And again, this show, I broke this show down into two episodes because I know it's long. So my next episode, we will focus 100% on how to hire a market maker, or how to find and interview a market maker for your token launch. But in this, we are just talking about general, what is market making, what market makers do, what are different risks. So what are the red flags? Let's talk about red flags. If there is unexplained volume spikes with a flat price, that means there's so much volume, there's no price change. That's kind of red flag. If market maker wallet is selling during support period, that's a red flag. If there's no real depth beyond top orders, that's it. Again, these are terms where you will learn more when you get into details. If refusal to share reports, if the market maker is not sharing transparent report, that's a problem. So most market makers usually have this weekly report where you, when first time you talk to them, you set up the goals with them. They will suggest some, you have your own goals. Then based on that, they will create a plan. And in the weekly report, they will review that plan like, okay, this week, this is what we did. There's a full report. You can also log into these dashboards. Most market makers have this dashboard login where you can log in as a token holder, and you can see everything, what is going on with your token, how much buying, who's selling, what is the balance in your accounts. You will have multiple accounts. So when you launch a token and you talk to an exchange, they are going to have an agreement and will say you have to have a market maker, and in your market making account you should have this much money and this many tokens as a minimum requirement. That's kind of pretty standard everywhere. For example, if you are going on exchange like, tier 2 exchange may say, oh, you have to have at least $50,000 or $30,000 worth of tokens, $30,000 worth of your other pair, which could be USDT or USDC. That's where your token is trading against. So then you have to have that money in your market making account. There are multiple accounts, and we can go more into the next episode. And market maker now is responsible for managing that on your behalf. So I know it's a little complicated topic and it's not easy for everybody to understand. But point is, if you have any questions, I want you to ask these questions, because so I can answer them. So this episode is brought to us by Sharp Economy and Sharp Rewards. So let's watch an ad from our sponsor.
Brew, what are you doing? Just scrolling memes, bro. Killing time.
Wasting time again? You could be earning rewards instead.
Rewards? From memes?
No, from the Sharp Rewards app. It's got a quiz feature that boosts your IQ and gives rewards for every correct answer.
Wait, seriously? You get rewards for answering right? Exactly. Learn and earn, bro. Way better than memes.
That's it. I'm downloading it right now.
So if you're watching this show, if you don't have Sharp Rewards wallet, I really want you to go and download this wallet. It's called Sharp Rewards. And then the idea with Sharp Rewards wallet is that it's a learning and earning. It's learning. This is all designed about your learning and your being your healthy. So it focuses on health as well. And it's kind of fun thing. You just go there, you learn new things every day, you earn tokens every day. There's daily streak, there's quests. Right now I have a quest like how to become a leader. You take the quest and see if you are really leadership, you have leadership skills. There's a quest on how to grow your social media followers, financial literacy, NIL basics. And they're also a refer to earn. You can refer your friends in their leaderboard. So it's a gamified app. It's amazing how you can see this. Yeah, check it out. Sharp Rewards. It's available on both Apple and Google App Stores. Check it out and earn free tokens. So today in our episode, we talked about. Let's go back to our slides. One more slides left. We talked about market making and how market making works and how it's very important to understand. If you're launching a token, market making is one of the key portion you must understand as a founder. So with that said, this finishes our today's topic content, and let's to next week. What I'm going to talk, as I said, is this episode, this content, and this topic is so vast and a lot of technical complexity in this topic. So next week I'm going to talk about how to hire a market maker for your token. So if you're planning to launch a token or you are launching a token soon, you must have a market maker. Without that, you cannot move far. So how do you find the good market maker? What are the questions you should be asking? It's almost like hiring a CTO and you don't know anything about technology, right? You are a founder, you want somebody to, what are the questions you need to ask? Same thing as market making. So in my next episode, I'm going to cover those topics. With that said, I hope you learned something today, learn about market making, market makers, and I will see you next week, same time, Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, have a good day.